People who we recognise as traditional custodians of this land. We also pay respects to the elders of the Kulin Nation, past and present, and extend that respect to any Indigenous Australians who are here tonight. The Rotary Club of Doncaster welcomes you all to tonight's celebration. We have many special guests with us this evening, but contrary to usual practice, I'm not going to list them all now, because as the evening goes on, you will get to meet them all. As is traditional at Rotary events, we start proceedings with a toast to Rotary International and a response to that toast. We are privileged this evening to welcome our current District Governor, Ken Miller, and distinguished past District Governor, Juliet Risley, to do the honours.
Thank you, Will. Hello, everybody.
Okay. Good.
Okay, Ken.
Hello. Good to see you all. And congratulations to the club for 50 years of service to the community.
That's looking.
You're right.
Thank you.
Just keep it near your mouth.
Good idea.
Those are good.
What a privilege it is for me to propose a toast to Rotary International in a room crowded by my fellow Rotarians. It's a wonderful sight. We belong to an extraordinary organisation. We connect passionate people with diverse perspectives. We forge lifelong friendships and instigate actions that change the world. As I see it, a toast to Rotary International includes all the clubs in the world, and therefore all of the Rotarians, family, friends and supporters, without whom we would achieve little. More than a century ago, Rotary pioneered a new model of service leadership based on person-to-person connections. Today, those connections are a network that spans the globe, bringing cultural, linguistic, generational and geographical barriers that share the vision of a better world. As people of action, we understand that fulfilling that vision requires a plan. I've got a lot of pages, but it's big writing. The world today is not the same as it was when Rotary began in 1905. Demographics have shifted, the pace has changed and has accelerated, and advances in technology has created a new opportunity for connection and service. What hasn't changed is the need for values that define Rotary, their fellowship, or our fellowship, integrity, diversity, service and leadership. We must honour our past, but embrace our future. We can continue to evolve and keep Rotary not only relevant, but thriving. As Rotarians, we work hard to solve problems locally, nationally and internationally. We promote peace, provide clean water, sanitation and hygiene. We assist mothers with children. We support education. We help grow local economies, care for the environment and fight disease. There is no greater example of this than the Polio Plus End Polio program, where we have almost achieved what most thought an impossibility. With our partners, we have immunised nearly 3 million children in 45 countries, all this since 1988. We continue to invest in the next generation, and we work in our local communities on projects that have a real and lasting impact on people's lives. I'm a very proud Rotarian, and I'm very proud of the great things that we achieve. We still have much to do, but tonight let us celebrate what we have achieved so far So please stand with glasses in hand, preferably with something in them, and join me in a toast to Rotary International.
Rotary International.
Please welcome Julia. She can't get out.
Thank you, Governor Ken, particularly for your toast to Rotary International, and thank you everyone in the room for the way you responded to that. Ken said lots changed in 100 years since Rotary, well, it's now 114, since Rotary began in 2005. In
1905.
thank you very much.
Oh dear.
One of the things that Ed and I have had the great pleasure in doing is going to a lot of 100-year anniversaries for Rotary clubs. And I have to tell you, they're not quite as much fun as 50-year anniversaries.
No charter members.
I think it's got something to do with the fact that if it's 100 years, there's nobody in the room who was there at the start.
Yeah.
It does mean the history can be a little stretched, modified, all of those things that does not happen with 50 years, because it's contemporary history, isn't it? And there are people in this room who know the start of the Rotary Club of Doncaster. And I did take some time to read some history about this club, and I have to say you have been present and at the front of many projects that not only have recognition in your local area, they have national recognition and international recognition. And I just want to take the smallest moment to mention 4 of them. And I won't talk about the luminaries who were involved in them, and I'm very sorry. Leon, Frank, Bruce, John, Ern, Patricia, that I'm not going to mention here. But I'm going to mention those 4 activities as examples of what this club does. For community, what better than the choir of all abilities? What an amazing project. And this club, with the expertise particularly in science that you have had, were instrumental in the national youth science programs right from the beginning. What else can we do for our young scientists but give them a program that gives them national exposure, and then, if they're good enough, international exposure? And when I went out to one of the information sessions, I was sitting there thinking, crumbs, if I was 16 again, I'd actually work harder. Science subjects. That is another story though.
Where's that?
He is here, yeah. Now obviously the project that gets a lot of international acknowledgement is the East Timor Roofing Company. And there is a lot to say about that. But the fact that it started here in this room, with this group, and I know people have been recognised about it, but it still needs to be talked about because it is one of the most amazing international projects that we've had. And the last thing I want to talk about is what you do as Rotarians. And you've had a member who really has pushed and pushed and pushed. We now have an area of focus for the Rotary Foundation of Environment, and that person, whose name I did mention at the end of my luminary list, was absolutely part of the international push to establish a Rotarian Action Group, to establish the fact that there is a lot we can do for sustainability. And we need to do that. Congratulations, Rotary Club of Doncaster. You are an amazing group of people that have promoted some amazing projects. Thank you.
Well, there goes my speech.
No domestics, please, no domestics. Thank you, Ken, and thank you, Juliet. Before we go any further, I would like to acknowledge the committee responsible for organising this event. The members of that committee are Graham Traynor, Barry Halpin, Brendan Woods, Rachel Woods, and Jodie Barnes. So please thank you. When a club has reached its half-century milestone, there's plenty to remember and lots of significant achievements to celebrate. Over the course of this evening, we will recall 50 special moments in our 50-year history. For highlights of our first decade, 1972 to 1980, and some words on the club's path to charter, please welcome past president and charter member Graham Traynor.
Just keep it short, Graham.
Yeah, short.
Come on, he's good. Let him go.
How did he get in here?
You better start soon, Graham.
Thank you, MC and past District Governor Elmer. The road to charter. Tonight, exactly 50 years ago, the 25th of August 1972, the Rotary Club of Doncaster received its charter to serve at both local and international communities in a practical way. But how did it all begin prior to charter? Ted Atkinson, the District Governor's Special Representative from the sponsor club, the Rotary Club of Box Hill, invited a group of local business and professional men to attend an interest meeting at Room at the Top restaurant in Westfield Shopping Town Tower, with the view to forming a Rotary Club in the city of Doncaster and Templestowe. These interest meetings resolved to establish a provisional Rotary Club of Doncaster on the 15th of August 1972 to meet weekly on Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. 35 local businessmen signed the application forms and submitted to Rotary International headquarters in Chicago, USA. This resulted in a charter being granted on August the 25th, 1972. And so tonight, we are now 50 years. We were inducted by District 280 Governor Jock Andrews at that meeting. This group of new Rotarians comprised a varied group of local men, all new to one another, with one exception, David East, a former Rotarian of the Hawthorn Rotary Club. And of course, David was a jeweller within the Westfield Tower. A completely new learning experience unfolded for all in looking to how the new club could benefit to the city of Doncaster and Templestowe, emerging from a mainly orchard area to a new expanding residential and commercial area. We started with 35 members. From 1972 until 1980, the following achievements were achieved. 1972, the first year, a bound copy of our club bulletin was produced. Our first inbound Rotary Exchange student, Anne Reuter, arrived from Sumner, Iowa, USA. In March 1974, Katsuno Yancey, an exchange student from Japan, arrived for her one-year learning experience with our club. She certainly endeared herself to club members. Following Katsano's return home, her parents presented a beautiful clock for the club as a token of their appreciation in the way the club had looked after their daughter. This clock, ever since, has been handed on to the incoming president at each changeover night. 48 years in total. Group study exchange saw Ron Clark, not the runner, Ron Clark selected as a team member to Sweden. Ron, a local resident and a member of the Victorian Police Force. Our charter president, Doug White, became the mayor of the city of Doncaster in 1974, which became part of the city of Manningham in 1994. We sponsored 2 Rotary clubs, Templestowe and Doncaster, both with 45 members each. And of course, Rotary is youth aged 18 to 28 years. We sponsored the chartering of the Rotary Club of Templestowe in 1977 with 21 members. In 1978, we marked the beginning of a 44-year connection with Doncaster, repainting and refurbishing their op shop. In 1980, we heralded the 75th anniversary of Rotary International. Also the same year, 1980, we chartered the Rotary Club of Donvale with 29 members. Our own club had grown from 35 members in 72 to 52 members in 1980. Thank you, Alma.
Thank you, Graham. Well done. It's great to look back at our history. Entree is being served, so please enjoy that, and we'll be back shortly.
Ian and Juliet have just flown into the United States. No, we were only in Queensland. I thought you were going to the US. No, that's a little later. That's why we are awake. You know these jet lag jokes really.
Where is your luggage?
You're allowed. Well,
Has it arrived?
that's not necessarily amusing these days because so often it goes. We flew to Port Macquarie. Races went position. Yeah, is that right? As close as that. Well, our family went to our daughter and her family. Went to the US for recreation and other things. Probably got to take it. Luggage didn't arrive. They were there for almost 2 weeks, and they arranged to get hold of their luggage as they were leaving.
Oh, no,
Marky and I flew to Paris about 30 odd years ago. And we arrived and our bags didn't. And so they said, just go to your hotel, we'll deliver. So 2 days later they delivered my clothes, and Mark rang up the number and it says press 1 for English, press 2 for French. So she pressed 1 for English and the phone went. so she did it again. So this time, next time she pressed 2 and she started talking and they said, oh madame, you want to speak to the English line 1? And he said, mais non monsieur. And practice her French.
Very good.
They said your husband's luggage has arrived. You could wear his clothes. She went on to explain the difference in size.
Yeah. Sad but true, yeah. I was really interested to hear the Qantas CEO, Alan Joyce, announcing the loss of 1.8 billion or whatever it was, and say, oh yes, everything's fine.
That's fine. Yep.
If they think they can fix that by giving people $50 vouchers, they've got nothing.
Table 2, but she's obviously going to be sitting right there.
I don't know if you've received the email from Alan. That's what I have. I have had that pleasure, yes. And to actually gain access to your $50 is not necessarily straightforward. What a surprise. Not only do you have to reclaim it before the end of September, but you have to actually book your flight before the end of November and fly before the middle of next year.
That's all right. $50 in domestic
When you say that you got a dietary requirement, like I basically have smooth soup for my main course. I think that's all you're going to eat. Would you like one of these? Help yourself before you go.
Next week we have the Rotaractors running our meeting.
Sorry again?
We have the Rotaractors running our meeting for us.
That should happen more often.
It should. Yep.
The way we do things at Rotary?
So I've got a meeting tomorrow.
About that. It's also outrageously expensive. I mean, John, you did a good job welcoming us up.
You did.
He's over behind the phone,
I'm expecting that he will be doing more unselfishly.
PowerPoint's been shown a few times. We'll read every year.
That's the first time
Yeah.
it's ever been used.
You won't have to buy the book. But lots of people will be recognising themselves.
If they could recognise themselves from 50 years ago or 40 years ago. A lot more grey, a lot more dark. So, dark hair in the early 20s, wasn't it?
So, did David please give you a rundown on what the book was about? No, it's a business book. Which is surprising that all profits is, $200.
Your Reese's here.
So, business books don't run yourself.
Yes?
So
they placed him in a
self-indulgent thing. I know the background. Yeah. So and
he's not.
Graham,
Graham.
Bruce, and Bill.
It's good. So I think those are his sons.
have a certain gift or a certain experience, and that they're prepared to take the effort to put it and then that process to worthwhile charity. It's very good. So totally self-published the whole.
That's
Which a lot of people do. Oh, technology. Open up the difference between now and then is unbelievable. Yes, would understand that. Being able to publish 100 books now is about one tenth the price of what it would have done even 20 years ago. Thank you.
just got to get going.
What time's the next one? Thank you very much.
Michelle, how are you?
I should say music.
And let me introduce you to Ian Risley. Ian is our speaker tonight, and this is Michelle Pine, our mayor.
My wife Juliet. Oops, I'll be out of the way. So you guys met? David and Grace.
Very pleased to meet you. I've just presented some health and safety training to your executive management team this week. Welcome. Now, are you hungry?
Yes. Oh, you've already eaten?
We've only had on track.
Oh, okay, no, I'll wait for mate. Easy.
Easy. I wanted to get you to come and talk. They send out such a long things about things.
You can just do, you don't have to do much. Yeah. This one was an interesting one because it was all done by email. And he said she broke some rules and.
What would you like to drink?
Oh, just water.
Okay.
Or is there mineral water?
No, they don't have milk.
Yeah.
Find yourself a chair.
No, she's got one here.
Michelle, just to let you know, when you listen to that David gets his opportunity to speak, and
I've got to make sure I've got everything.
we've got a pretty packed I've run from the Scouts, and gave a talk that I
Wonderful history. Listening to it. Very impressive.
That's always the way, isn't it?
You could do something with that.
Oh, wow.
Just because this used to be an orchard area, but really.
The symbol.
Yes,
I just thought it was just a season.
salt water? You bought your own, did you? Very crafty, very crafty. Why don't I just put that in the front here? Make sure Alma's got her own. I love the idea.
Yeah, we had Graham and Rusty about 10 years ago. They did a street,
Right.
which for celebrating our 40th. But they've upgraded it so there's no one being released. So every club president, and so you probably be one of the only presidents. You're president 42, David, aren't you? 52?
52.
So we've never had a repeat. Never had a repeat president.
These days, that's someone on that's right. No one needs to
That's exactly right. So Joe was 53. And we sort of, there was a share situation. And Lorenzo. No, but not everybody. No, but there's never been a repeat president in this place.
More people get that chance.
Yeah.
I hope you all enjoyed your entree. Mine was delicious. Welcome back to proceedings. Holding a position of leadership at a time of major celebration is a significant privilege for a Rotarian. So how could we stop the current president from having a say on this auspicious occasion? Please make welcome President David McIver.
Alma makes that sound like I forced my way in here, which I did not. I'll explain this weapon to you in a moment, and maybe Bruce might be able to help. So, welcome everybody. We've done the formal introductions and welcome to country, so I'm not going to repeat all of that. In fact, I'm actually going to make a speech, for good or for bad. I'm the president for the coming year, so I guess I'm the first president for the second 50 years of Rotary, but of the Rotary Club of Doncaster. But obviously, there's many gone before me, and the list of achievements of the club have been quite significant, as we're finding out tonight, including 3 district governors and many other people serving on the district committees and so on. I thought rather than me make a speech tonight, I wanted to acknowledge a couple of very, very significant contributions. We have 3 charter members left in the club. That is, members who were part of the first club way back in 1972. And they are Bruce Parker and Graham Trainer. Unfortunately, the third member, who's
Bill Kearney.
Bill Kearney, beg your pardon. Bill's not well and is not able to be with us tonight. So it's my very significant pleasure to be able to present to both Bruce and to Graham a special badge, a charter member's badge. Now, I'm not too sure whether there's any space on the lapels after all the Paul Harrises and so on to fit the badges, right? But we'll pass these on. Now, as any Rotarian knows, you can only do so much on your own, but every good Rotarian has a very significant other half, a partner to assist them, and certainly both Graham and Bruce have had significant help from their partners. So apart from presenting tiny little Rotary charter member badges to our 2 charter members, I also have a nice little brooch for the two wives of our charter members. And I would draw your attention, way back when, Bruce, back in 1972 or thereabouts,
72.
Bruce cannibalised one of his gearboxes from Gem Engines, and in acknowledgement of Doncaster's past as being mainly orchards, he produced a what's become known as the apple, and this was in the early days of the sergeant's fine, so that if you had the apple presented in front of you, you were expected to put something in to make a clunk. And Bruce has resurrected the apple. And, far more interesting people to talk about Rotary than me. As District Governor Ken says, let's celebrate the past but embrace the future. So my future in my year and ensuing years for the next 50 years of Rotary Doncaster, we're going to imagine what Rotary might look like in the future. Thanks, Al.
Thank you. Thank you, David. I've got to say that apple looks significantly better than the last time I saw it. It was looking very bruised and battered, I've got to say. To deliver a message of congratulations to the Rotary Club of Doncaster, I welcome Mayor Michelle Kleinert. I won't introduce her with a resume of her achievements and interests. Rather, I want to say that Michelle strikes me as a person who, despite the hard work and long hours, thoroughly enjoys her position and is extremely proud of the city that she represents. Please welcome Mayor Michelle Kleinert.
Thank you so much. Did someone say I'm short? Oh, I'm not going to stand tonight. I'll sit with everyone else. Can you see me? Look, thank you very much. I'll just first pay my respects to the land of which we're meeting on today, the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Thank you so much for the invitation. And it's so wonderful to be here and see your faces and say thank you. On behalf of the City of Manningham, thank you. Because you have been around all my life.
How do you feel?
And it's just wonderful to see what you have done and what you've contributed to. And I'm so excited to know that the room is full tonight. That demonstrates that Rotary is here to stay, because you contribute so much, from your Rotaract to your school involvement to, you know, just being around on so many events. Even when I think most recently, you know, our tree planting day, you were there helping council and partnering, and the partnership continues on. I'm so proud of my city, but my city I'm proud of because we have such great community, and that includes the Rotary Club of Doncaster. So thank you so much for all that you have done, those thankless, tireless years and hours. They've never been unnoticed by the city, so thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for that message of support and appreciation. Past President Ern Dawes is going to help us to remember the decade of the 1980s. Thank you, Ern.
Thank you, Alma. Rotarians and guests, I'd like to highlight a few of the many activities of the Rotary Club of Doncaster during our second decade. In 1982, the Rotary District 980 was divided and a new District 981 formed from clubs east of Melbourne, and that included Doncaster. In 1984, Bill Teeney formed the Rotary Club of Warrandyte, the first club formed in the new District 981. Bob Roan chartered the Probus Club of Doncaster firstly with 100 members, which was quite an achievement. And I don't think they exist now, but they were a very, very active club in their day. In 1985, Bill Teeney was elected district governor, and our club had the responsibility of running the district conference in Canberra. The conference master of ceremonies was Ken Clarks, and in his opening address, it set the tone for the weekend. Sir Edward Weary Dunlop, as a keynote speaker, gave an emotional and inspiring address, paying tribute to the Australian prisoners of war on the Burma Railway. Weary arrived in Canberra with both arms in slings after falling down the steps a few days earlier, so he was really pretty good to come up to Canberra to speak to our district. Wife Nola knew Weary from nursing days and was assigned to look after him in Canberra. Sir Edward was made an honorary member of our club and was presented with a PHF. In this decade, we ran community raffles and raised $110,000 for those raffles, which was quite an achievement in the day. In 1988, the Rotary International Constitution changed to allow women to join Rotary. One of our stayed-on members said he would resign if this happened in our club. He didn't resign, he stayed there. Since then, we've been very lucky in having so many women members to our club. They've really changed the style of Rotary. In 1988, saw the start of our club at Tunstall Square Market together with the Rotary Club of Donvale, and this ran for 6 years. For the Australian Bicentennial, we co-sponsored a memorial fountain outside the council offices. This was removed, unfortunately, in 2012 when the council redeveloped the site. Frank Evans championed the bowel cancer test kits, and it continues today, and there were quite a lot of members who benefited by these kits, positive. In 1989, Vern Tansley was selected to lead a group study exchange team to Japan, and Vern is with us tonight, and great to see you, Vern.
It's a pleasure to be here and see so many faces and people we know.
Our club was successful with our applicant, Andrew Manette, who was selected as a member of the team. In 1989, I approached the board of the Australian Scientific Industry Association to start a science summer school for students in Year 9 going to Year 10. And without the strict entry requirements and the high cost of the National Youth Science Forum. With the club's backing, Murray Stenny and I formed a committee and ran the very first successful ASIA Science Summer School at Monash University in 1990. And there were 200 students in attendance at that school. Today, after 32 years with Rotary's involvement, we are now going for much bigger things in science education, and we at present have Santos to sponsor this science experience. And now with the Santos Science Experience running around the world, or around Australia, with 35 campuses. So this has been quite a success. And each year we would have over 2,000 students going to the school.
Thank you, Ern. Fantastic. It's great to remember our history, isn't it? Now I'm going to introduce a Rotarian who almost needs no introduction. Our keynote speaker for this evening is Ian Risley. Ian is currently the chair of the Rotary Foundation Board of Trustees. For those non-Rotarians, and I suspect for some Rotarians too, you need to know that this is a really big deal. The Rotary Foundation manages about $500 million US dollars in donations annually. It funds the Polio Plus initiative and Rotary projects around the world. It also manages an endowment fund of more than $650 million US dollars. The Rotary Foundation also holds the highest rating from independent assessor Charity Navigator and has done so for the past 16 consecutive years. It is the charity of choice for Rotarians and a part of our organisation of which we are all immensely proud, and Ian is currently the captain of that big ship. Ian is also the past Rotary International President in the year 2017-18 and has the honour of being partner to past Governor Juliet. I won't list any more of Ian's Rotary achievements except to say he's probably held almost every Rotary office in his distinguished journey. Please give an incredibly warm welcome to our special guest, Ian Risley.
Thank you very much, Elmer, and evening all.
Evening, Ian.
I have to say, first of all, that I love the AV stuff that's going through here. Wonderful history, and I also admire the placemats, the photographs in the 50s. I have to say, Graham Trainer, yours is in black and white. And next to you, Vern Tansley, you have hardly changed a skerrick.
I've still got, I had a mow.
You did have a mow, but you had about the same amount of hair as well. I can be rude. I can be rude to Vern because he was one of my assistant governors. So, and as the past governors here know, you can always be rude to one of your assistant governors. What a special occasion. 50 years, and that means this is contemporary history, if you like, for many in this room. And to have 3 charter members still going at this stage is outstanding. And it's a pleasure to have your company this evening. I do appreciate the warm welcome and the friendship. Juliet and I have just spent 4 days in Brisbane, and I have to say that the weather there, as well as the welcome, was warm. It's a bit of a shock to come back here, but there you go. I mention friendship because I believe that it's one of the glues that hold Rotary together, possibly the strongest of those glues. I had the privilege of leading a GSE team also, like others. It went to District 7930 in Boston way back in 1997. And in that 5-week period, I made some very, very good friends that I still see around the Rotary world now, 25 years later. Such is the power of Rotary. And I went to the International Assembly in 1999 as the District Governor-elect, and I came to understand that I had about 530 or more friends right around the world who were in the same position as me, to a greater or lesser extent having the nerves, insecure, apprehensive, incoming district governors, but we had friends. Such is the power, the worldwide power of Rotary. So it's clear to me that friends through Rotary are important. And I invite you here to reflect on the friends that you have here at this club, developed over whatever part of the 50-year history you've been involved with, and whose friendship you would have missed without your membership at the Rotary Club of Doncaster. Rotary worldwide has grown so much and changed so much in the 117 years of its existence. And so has Rotary in Australia over more than 100 years now. What hasn't changed is the pleasure we get as individual Rotarians from being part of this great organisation. And I was a charter member, so Bruce, you're not the only charter member here. I was a charter member as well at the Rotary Club of Sandringham, not quite that long ago, back in 1978. And yes, I was very young, thank you for observing that. And I've enjoyed almost 44 years of involvement with the occasional frustration along the way. And I hope each of you have the same feeling about your Rotary experience. A Rotary in the USA, and I mentioned this recently, and forgive me Ken, you heard some of this recently, but they're stories that I enjoy, so I'm afraid you're getting it as well. A Rotarian in the USA once said to me that his Rotary involvement is a bit like a marriage. I did tell him he needs to get out more, but I did understand the analogy that he was getting to. So allow me to reflect briefly on why Paul Percy Harris sought to form a club that became Rotary back in February 1905. He was lonely, and in bustling Chicago he missed the friendships that he had growing up in small town Vermont. So the basic motivation of Rotary was friendship, and that endures today. And again I say that I believe it is what keeps most of us as members. But Rotary is more than friendship, much, much more than friendship. The concept of what we now call service took a few years to happen and caused Rotary to transition from a social club to a service club. There are wonderful projects undertaken every year in the name of Rotary by every club. And I remember with enormous affection, the East Timor Roofing Company, and my visit there and I could tell stories, but I won't, Bruce, with Bruce Parker, to that country in the very early days of that highly successful project. A project of which, as Juliet mentioned, the Rotary Club of Doncaster and people like Frank and like Bruce and like Ern can be enormously proud. And because of the time I've spent with clubs all over, I've come to appreciate the great work done in the name of Rotary by clubs right around the world. We can, all of us as Rotarians, feel honoured to call ourselves Rotarians. I want to tell you a quick story. Have you ever had someone say to you, Rotary changed my life? It takes you back a bit when that happens, doesn't it? And I see the occasional nod. Deep stuff. Rotary changing lives. I make a visit to our Australian Parliament every few years to seek greater assistance for polio eradication, and I get the opportunity to meet a number of members of Parliament and senators individually. And last time I was there, I was visiting with the senator and started my spiel about Rotary and our ambitious Polio Plus program. I didn't get far in the spiel before this MP said, you don't have to tell me about Rotary, I know a lot about it, and in fact, it changed my life. And it transpired that this senator had been a member of a group study exchange team to Florida about 25 years earlier. And it broadened his horizons and opened his mind. This is his description. And he said if it wasn't for his Rotary experience, he would have been content to be, quote, just a farmer. Now I quickly pointed out that being a farmer is a noble occupation. And he said, of course, but as a member of the Australian Parliament, he has the chance to really make a difference. Rotary making a difference. Wonderful theme, that. Let's not dwell on that. And this is an example of the impact that we make as Rotarians with our programs every single day.
The Rotary Club of Doncaster was chartered in the year 1972. That's no news to anyone who's here. The RI president that year was Roy Hickman of Birmingham, Alabama. He had the theme, "Let's take a new look and act." Doesn't that theme suit today's Rotary very well indeed? Now, Juliet did some research. Juliet, when she was in paid employment, was an information technology and library person, so any research she does is totally trustworthy. And she did some research about this club. Don't get nervous. And one of the aspects of your history that I believe is very appropriate at the moment relates to your first female member. Zena, I think it's pronounced Botte, B-O-T-T-E, in 1994. Zena was the honorary consul for the Ukraine in Melbourne and was the first Ukrainian diplomatic representative anywhere in Australia. Her work with the children from Chernobyl, who came to Australia for a period of fresh air and relaxation in the early 1990s, was recognised by the Ukrainian Parliament, who gave her the title Mother of Chernobyl. And doesn't the Ukraine need our support now? And this story is particularly relevant at the moment because we have our first female president in Jennifer Jones of Canada, and the Presidential Nominating Committee recently nominated my very good friend Stephanie Erchik from the USA to be president in 2024-25. Now, some of you may have met Stephanie when she was President's Rep to our district conference a couple of years ago, and I'm personally really looking forward to the 1st of October when her selection is confirmed. Now, both of these ladies are outstanding leaders, and our great organisation is privileged to have them. And again, if we're reflecting both backwards and also looking forwards, I ask you to think about where our great organisation would be if the 27% of our members who are women were not able to be part of our organisation. It wouldn't be what it is now. Now, I was fortunate enough to attend a number of club milestones when I was president, and Julia alluded to this as well. And I tried to impress upon those members that while it's important to look back and to celebrate our achievements, it's more important to look forward to an exciting and effective future. I often used a cricketing analogy where a person achieves a half century of runs in an innings. It's appropriate for that batter to acknowledge the applause from the crowd, but then it's vital, absolutely critical, that they take block, put their head down and keep working towards 100. That is the team thing to do. Now, I'm not sure that the Americans actually understood that story. They were always polite, however. They sort of nodded and had strange looks. Word may have reached them that I once, when asked to explain cricket, described it as the thinking person's baseball. That did not go over well, and mind you, that was before I came to understand the great game of baseball, which I absolutely love. The point, my friends, is that we have a duty, all of us, to do all that we can to sustain Rotary and its legacy into the future, whatever that future may bring. We've all benefited from the friendships and the personal improvement that's come from being a Rotarian. And we must ensure that the same is available for many generations to come. I really like President Jennifer's theme for this Rotary year. It's not as good as Rotary Making a Difference, but it's good. So I invite you to think about imagining Rotary without Doncaster. Without doubt, Rotary would not be as successful as it is. So I congratulate you on the half century of service, and I sincerely wish you well for the next 50 years and beyond. Good to be with you.
Stephanie Urchin sang with the Laughs Choir.
You know, I wrote these words before I heard what Ian had to say, but I'm completely right, I've got to tell you. Ian, on behalf of us all, thank you for your words of wisdom and encouragement. Thank you too for making time in your incredibly busy and I can't believe anything but exhausting schedule to be with us this evening. In acknowledgement of the special effort that Ian and Juliet have made to be here this evening, Past President Barry Halpin is now presenting. He's about to present. Ian and Juliet with thank you gifts. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank again both Ian and Juliet for being here tonight.
It's lovely. Thank you, Bert.
We're actually running a little bit early, can you believe? I was very concerned about, you know, some people when you give them a microphone they speak for a long time. I'm not talking about you, Ian, you're absolutely fine.
I could have sworn you were a past district governor, right?
That's true, I am a past district governor and you know there's a saying in Rotary, never give a microphone to a past district governor. I'm going to find the spot I should be up to and I'm going to skip ahead and do the next thing that we were going to do. I've lost my page. I know it's here somewhere.
If I can pick it up. It's
Okay. Presidents. For me, being a club president was a year which was great fun. It was incredibly rewarding and it was a little bit challenging. Oh, yes. So what we want to do now is acknowledge all the past presidents of the Rotary Club of Doncaster who have been able to join us tonight. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. If the rest feel like acknowledging the contribution of our past presidents, please wait until we get to the current year and they're all standing up. Okay. So the earliest president we have with us tonight is President number 11 in 1982, Bruce Parker. President, no, thank you. Bruce can stand up. You stand up, Bruce. You stand up. No clapping till we get to the end. Okay. Yeah, he will. And you know, I have to say the reason I'm saying no clapping, of course, is when you say the first name, everybody claps like mad. By the time you get halfway down the list, they're kind of, you know, a bit half-hearted with the clapping. By the time you get to the end, you know, the last people don't get anything really much, but so we're going to do it all together. All right, so the next president we have with us is President number 14 in 1985, Graham Traynor. President number 17 in 1988 was Vern Tansley, and in 1989, President number 18 was Basil Ornelas. In 1997, President number 26 was Paul Cameron. And in 1999, President number 28 was Frank Evans. In 2001, President number 30 was Robert Nielsen. And in 2005, President number 34 and our first female president was Liz Oley. In 2007, President number 36 was Rod Wilkinson. And President number 39 in 2010 was Roger Rees. 2013, President number 42 was, that was me. In 2014, President number 43 was Michelle Kerrigan. In 2016, President number 45, Greg King, and President number 46 in 2017, David Grieve. The following year, 2018, Sonia and Sarah was President number 47. And in 2019, we had a joint presidency. So President number 48 was Niranjan Ramji. 2020, President number 50 was Barry Halpin. And President 51 in 2021 was Brendan Woods, bringing us to the current year, David McIver, President number 52. Thank you all for your leadership. so please enjoy some fellowship and we'll be back after you've eaten.
You've also got lots of presidents here in your counter-city clubs as well.
Yeah.
Doncaster,
Well,
East and Sunrise.
Doncaster Sunrise. Doncaster East was with Manning. Doncaster Sunrise, because we didn't join, they handed back their charter. So we can't. There was a previous president of Doncaster Sunrise, but she was a joint president of our club as well. So she may have been a previous president, but she hasn't duplicated it.
I think I understand.
I'm a little bit alien on that. Everybody who stayed, and a lot of them have stayed over that 12 years now, they've been the driving force behind that place for the last couple of years.
So Kevin, has nothing to do.
No.
So he was president somewhere else.
I don't know where.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't been president of this club, Kevin O'Donnell.
He wasn't in
And Graham Richardson. I think they might have been president at Doncaster Sunrise. I don't know what it is, it's been convention over the last 12 years. When they handed back the charter and they all joined, it was really fairly specific. That's how they wanted it. And in fact, most of our members, apart from people like myself, most of our members wouldn't even know that they were on.
Good point. You've got a lot of people in this club who have contributed at district level and all footballers. And I need to actually go and say like this because I've been rude to him.
Yeah, and you were very rude to him, so he would have loved it. He would have loved it.
The Doncaster lady said she'd love to come and talk to the club.
Who's that?
Doncaster lady.
Well, we're going to fill up our calendar.
It was full. I'm full up to this
It can't be as hard as some people have had to make out. Other people who organise calendars have real of it.
Getting Kevin is still trying to wrest control.
Yes.
You're resilient. You're resilient. You're persistent.
I'm younger.
So I was on air yesterday. I had my own midweek mornings program, and I knew it was the Ukrainian National Day. But it was also the 50th anniversary of the concert by Neil Diamond Hot August Night. Yeah. So I had a feature on my program yesterday. So
how do you want to handle the certificates of appreciation for the sponsors? The Louis box over there is that clock Graham trainer. Thank you for the organisation, the energy you've put into
So we've got the sponsors sorted. So what's going to happen is I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to call them all out, prepare the applause, get them to come out, be presented with a certificate by Brendan is going to present them a certificate. When they're all out, we're going to have a clap and then they're going to sit down. That's what we're going to do. Got the list?
The idea about being in the US comes from me. I actually thought that's where you were
mention the committee. So I'll do the rest of the program trainer and a presentation of a special mission program in there.
Brilliant. It's just the box that it's engraved and
Look, I really like the sport for
I'm going to come around.
him. You know there's a little, you know there's that strip like the last shot, where the TRB,
Everybody seems to take an opportunity to take a risk.
she was looking, she said, they don't have anything to park over.
I was watching a program last night and I found out how to make vegan pork belly.
Oh, yeah.
We came back from China around, showed business class, we went across to Shanghai and well, mate, if you win it, you've got to beat China.
What are you guys doing? You're 27 points up. I had like
I did. I've already told him, and I vacated the seat for him. Anyway, I did. Yes. No. That's all right. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you.
You're really stacked, Michelle. You're the sit here. Okay, change.
Okay, you're going to bring it over.
They look really
Yes,
good.
mate.
I'm going to be very happy with
So you must have been on that table. I've got some dietary issues, so I just had
I'm not sure how hot it is at the start, so that's good.
So I believe you're a monthly superstar on the radio with
He's very good.
taught him everything.
I quite really enjoy it. Having a chat with
The community radio has on your local community. Let me just quickly give you some figures. Community radio is made up of basically metropolitan sub-metro, and 106.5 FM is a sub-metro station. So we cover the cities of Benny, Territory, and Manningham. Of course,
Are you mentioning these?
No.
Who is?
No one.
So, give us an
I think they're totally inappropriate for tonight. They belong in a convent. So I'm not going to mention them. I don't know who. Well, I do know. Apparently it happened at Jodie said that it was brought up at a president's meeting, and it was asked, and Jodie said yes, it's written but
at least 250 hours per month.
yes, well that's what it should be. That's where it belongs, isn't it?
So that's
It's not a fun meeting, and I'm not going to ask people like, Neil and Juliet to take home a bag of groceries, that's fine.
For the 9 years that I've been taking notice of I think it is sincere. One of the most impactful part of it is the number of people who live alone who can't get out.
How are you, Grace? Are you recovering from your China sojourn? Yeah, I'm sure you are.
By the people who call. I am part of their community. So we're a community radio station. Council.
They had a nice holiday.
For our council. When a community radio station calls, any community radio says, we'd like to interview some people about such and such, you've got a captive audience. You will get the message across. Always. I have a program called Midweek Mornings. I have at least 2 major interviews each Wednesday morning. And I talk about events you've got to listen to, annual community health service, dog care. I talk about Kevin Hunt's Grow, a whole range of those books, and 3 or 4 times when I started my program a number of years ago, the council that were growing roots all over the place, and also the public service. Your and Asian players, you know about community radio, I think. Tell them just exactly what they're missing out. There you go, now you've had your ear back.
Because we're really stuck with no location. We're being, getting out some messages. And that's why I love to read this Ryan, the show. There might be opportunities
You've got to be growth. You've got to be able to isolate it so that so when you have your carols by candlelight, for example, notice 6.5 into their bed, and needs to be one of the first people that are involved in it. Well, that's because of Brian Hyde.
You know what? You had to shoot me an email and
We got chicken.
Pardon?
You got chicken.
I got chicken.
Although my last day as president of my radio station is Monday. After 4 years and after 9 years on the committee, so there'll be a new president. He lives over in Moonville or something, but that doesn't matter. It's community radio. And Brian Tyden will still have his. At the Women's Shopping Centre. Bagu, Manningham and Darabin, but Bagu is our, I guess, we can say that we're about the potential catchment area is about 445,000 people in those three cities. We estimate that we have somewhere between 8 and 12,000.
Are you enjoying this, Alma, or are you working too hard? Good.
And like I say, community radio is we are bloody serious. We are serious. We love the opportunity to be able to promote our local community at any one stage.
So where's the studio?
My studio, where you came to, at the regional shopping centre.
There's a few around.
We've got what WBC now is the nation. The Rotary and Action Radio program is no more after 27 years. We just couldn't get
coming from Rotary
we couldn't get Rotarians to
because I've got $100 money voucher.
Yeah, it is.
Still.
So WBC Box Hill has a community program 6 to 8 o'clock every Friday night. So they're doing a good job.
An arena. So who runs that? Who actually runs it?
There's people from Hawthorne.
I know that would be a radical change.
And it's more 9888.
Right.
There is, they've just made contact with Ken a bit through Peter Ben to have a regular slot for 9888. So Ken rang me and I said, what do you think? I said, any opportunity.
So you okay with laminated running shape and regimenting the meeting?
No. But I'll be going away. I've already set up the program. And so for the 5 weeks, back in June, I just don't want it to be back like it was dead bored.
So whether support amongst the older members or sergeants, which you might have said the name, then I asked for suggestions who might have a sergeant. How many responses do you recommend?
She has a regular spot on my program as well. But we'll do some announcements.
There's one to shut them up.
And we can run that as well. Okay.
And I've just been trying to show me that I can't do this. I'm no good at running meetings. That's the thing. They organised and
Right. We do.
So who attends the event?
The Mayoral Ball.
Apart from the mayor. See, a smart radio operator would arrange for someone to go along that night to sort of interview some of the attendees.
Brian Hyden would be the right person.
I would have thought so too. Trouble is, they would never get a word in.
Yeah. And I'm so shy, I would never do something like that.
tell,
Yeah.
As long as they don't put that bears and rats, they
Northwestern University is there, so very pretty.
which you would love to.
Almost.
Yeah. When
And,
they love to see it. They love to see it.
because sometimes I find it interesting things that I was talking to yesterday. When the council there, Queen, where they are elected.
Queensland's really good there. Family move and you end up being on the other side of the world.
That explains in the division in Logan, south of Sydney, and sat into that council.
Bruce Parker, Rod,
And
the general on Tuesday.
he was give us the mayoral
When I get back, I just start coming
Apart from those who have declined the invitation.
So I bet you will announce it as he doing it.
and a Tesla as well. But it's
It's lovely to see people and you miss that connection, that face-to-face connection, especially with family.
does it often have another person as mayor moving on?
A couple of nice little nasty things.
Imagine this, David. 5 weeks ago.
As I was saying to Grace, my 3 weeks away, I actually enjoyed myself. Not having to worry about it, just coming.
I love you, though.
I think the 2 young blokes there, the young traders, I'm not sure.
But it's like the call it the general.
Because I'm going to probably feel
You have to still vote. Anyone who's having changes so that way you can find your family and they don't see, because every family has their preferences.
Is it party political on your
Yep, two charming.
Members of political parties on council, but they don't know, there's no block voting, there's no
Very, very good.
she's much better.
His memory, there was a very
I don't know what the
His son,
We've got an interesting structure where
Stop being good liars.
the electorate board where there's a lot of people, they have multi-member hours, and there's one
I'll do that in a minute.
who I note in interest in today's documentation, he is on leave. That's why he's on leave. Must be. All the period. What's his name? Stephen Brown.
Is it as good as mine?
Because he was there, then he went to Melbourne and he's come back. Careful.
When you come for dinner on Saturday with a lot of beef dish,
Have you? If it was Perth Bourguignon, repeat after me. Perth Bourguignon.
I'd prefer Melbourne, but if I can't have Melbourne, then I'll be a member.
I would be there at 6:30.
Well, we'll give it a bit more time to mature.
Okay, I'll be there at 6.
No doubt, Greggy, that your feeling is as sad as I am about what's happened.
Oh, I'm very happy.
I think the French have a
Right. Here's the count.
Quite a washout of people. It was a very dysfunctional.
I heard tonight that we might be getting Justin Fletcher as a speaker. That'll be pretty tippy.
Related on how it ended up for her
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Given the current circumstances.
There were a lot of people running around, I mean, just below those
Preference is sort of personal.
Justin Fletcher always reminded me of the Black Knight in the search for the Holy Grail.
And John Cleese, we always call him Inspector Gadget.
You don't have to
Because he'd be able to, no matter where he was, he could still reach up a couple of metres and grab hold of the water. He's only got dirty ass. On kicking feet. Do you have elbows and hip flies?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. We've just now gone to single walk. So we're 3x3 now. We're single time.
And Justin Madden's resigned from the bench.
And that's still a government initiative.
When he ran, he looked like a Tommy.
You got party
So tonight, it's tonight the women's stuff.
Yes.
Starting time.
Yeah.
So I haven't, how good am I? I haven't even checked yet.
Would you like me to check that?
I can do that. No, this is not.
It's an old Melbourne tradition. When Joe Goodnick was in the synagogue, he couldn't stop people from coming up and saying,
Well, we can always find the scores out nowadays. If you want to. But when I do this, I do turn my phone off. And I have tremendous self-discipline.
Admirable. I do, considering who you're sitting next to, I think very wise as well.
You do not understand. You do not understand all emotions. I do everything exactly as I says, and then my own bits.
but I wouldn't know any school.
It's so good to have you back, by the way.
This is my
Are you
phone.
relaxed now? Yeah, must have been so hard. Yep. I'm sure we'll talk in time. Yeah. So you guys sneak on out. Feel free to do so.
That's fine. I think we'll something about that. How much told you you're actually running ahead of time.
Yeah. She runs a tight ship.
As we thought.
Have noticed that, right?
As we thought.
Yeah. We are moving. Yeah, we're going down to Westwood Flat. We're not quite certain yet, but possibly Tarabara. We've both got a bit of a treat to trade. I don't think Helen was excited about Tarabara because she thinks it's too small. And I don't want to live in Bruin. We'll stop. So so that may even be 2 places off of it. Inverloch, I was not interested in Inverloch because of 13 weeks of the year it's a holiday short handle that. I also want to live. I want to live, and that's why Carabao is interesting.
What about Northern Warrior, like rugby or something like that?
Well, we're actually looking at the benefits of So we do believe that we've made the best possible advantage of. I'm not a fan of regionalisation, by the way, so, and I'll be speaking against it about that. However, I am a passionate fan for the merger.
Oh, right.
So 9815 to me.
You've done the other two.
Yeah, oh, that's exactly right. So in other words, we make the best of that. So we want to get those back in case. I'm going to find a radio station, but I don't want to be president again. President's 20 hours, 30 hours a week, and which takes away, it's taken away from my voting time.
Cool. And it's becomes a part-time job rather than a
And you get not too much tax, I'm pretty sure.
There's a lady seeking your attention, I think.
No, I'm not. I'm waiting for the microphone to come back.
So we're looking at the balance of a treaty because we don't have we don't want to buy a house. So we sold our house and did all that sort of stuff. And what we want to do is just basically look at the final stages of our lives while we're still things like the Rotary donation and being an alumni of a technical awardee from 76, 77 is nothing I'll never do.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry to interrupt your conversation, but it's been brought to my attention that we have here the most magnificent birthday cake. And not long after we start back after our little break, that cake is going to be cut. So if you would like an opportunity to come and admire our magnificent birthday cake, now is the time.
Keep your fingers off it.
Yeah. Oh yes, no sampling, okay?
It'll be fun. Yeah, and with it's almost like we're still going to say different things in Rotary. Yeah, I think we're all going to be the same thing.
But it is interesting that parts of the area 100 k's from Melbourne, or a bit more, have become suburbs that the development is massive. When we were going down to the 9820 conference to Raleigh, we went through...
This might be good, the land behind it
American and Brewing.
From our place, and once you get around the top of the bay, it was just terracotta roofs. The development was absurd.
Berwick and Pakenham and as far as opposite, that's all suburb now. Yep.
That's not retail. That's swapping one part of the building for another.
That's Melbourne. That's suburbs,
We're going down to Rotary Club of Toowoomba on the night of Paul Mead's official visit.
Oh, yeah, right.
It just so happened that that's where we're going. But one of their members, the first thing that we need to do is meet a few real estate agents who are Rotarians at a number of clubs. So the first one is George at Currumbara. So we'll have a chat with George, make an appointment to see him during the day. We've already spoken, and we'll just suss out the lay of the land.
And the advantage of that,
Are you going home now? No, okay.
Just supposed to
get on the ground.
It's a good night, isn't it? It's great.
But we know we're going.
We're about to start back about a minute's time. So I can keep on the timetable.
Currumbara is 20 minutes. And I like to do lovely. And colder. I'm not a big person. So very good. Well, whether it's Currumbara or somewhere further down,
they're not good. My brother, who runs my accounting practice, they're looking at doing the same thing. House was passed into adoption last Saturday, and they were going to sell. And then they're buying a new caravan, they're going to go walk about for a while, and then they're looking at maybe somewhere down further east a bit, or up into the hills a little bit, or even the other side, with the advantage of, in terms of accessibility to medical centres and all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
pretty good.
We've got to keep him out there. If he doesn't have this year, he'll have it next year.
Just come up. Like I'm the eldest of seven. We do get together. Twice a year. Even when we live in Melbourne.
Yep.
So whenever we get
That's what I do when I'm travelling. I have all my travel documents in one
Hello, young man. My God, you're looking well. Yeah, rah. How you all? Hope sort of benefit is that we can survive remotely. It's totally right. Good on the kid. It's nice to have visitors. Yeah, no, it's good guy.
Back again. Everybody like to take their seats, please. Okay, we're going to continue our trip through 50 moments in 50 years, and we're going to go back now in our time machine, back to the decade of the 1990s, with past president and charter member, Bruce Parker. Please come forward, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
Here he comes.
Thank you very much, Elmer.
You don't need a
microphone.
Elmer, I must say that 3 minutes is the absolute limit. And I've got to tell I've got to make
microphone, Bruce, can't hear you, mate.
I've got to make a minor comment, Greg. Thank you very much for reminding. In relation to a comment that Elmer made earlier on where she said, I am sure I'm right. Elmer, there would be no doubt whatsoever that you're always right. I reckon Greg can testify to that. And so could my wife, Gail. In fact, we have an issue at home because Gail, like you, Elmer, is always right.
Good.
And as a result, when I make her a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, I hold it in my right hand and I deliver it. And that way I can remember which one's hers, because she has sugar and I don't. She is always in the right. There you go.
3 minutes, Bruce. That's right.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
That was listening to that.
But I'm sure that you'll remind me. Right, 91 to 2000. End polio now. I don't need to go any further with that. Greg has made sure that that rebounds right throughout the district. There's a book highlighting the first 21 years of the club's history, produced by Irvin Green. Rotary International Convention was held in Melbourne in 1993. The club's first female president, as Ian Risley rightly made comment earlier on, was Zuna Bolte, and she was the consul for the Ukraine. 2 years after planning the achievement program, it changed to Challenge to Lead, and that's a very successful project which is still going. 1996, Jack Tanner joined the team marketing Rotary in community radio. Men's health champion prostate cancer, bowel cancer, and promotion of organ donation. But the signature project for the Rotary Club at Doncaster was East Timor roofing. In 1999, during Australia's intervention in the East Timorese conflict and vote for independence, General Peter Cosgrove, our commander, wanted a vehicle to demobilise Falun Tel, that's the resistance movement during the Indonesian occupation of Timor. The biggest issue for people in East Timor was housing as a result of the departing Indonesian army that had used a scorched earth policy. 85,000, in excess of 85,000 private dwellings plus government infrastructure were destroyed by fuel-assisted burning. It was widespread right throughout the whole country. There was an obvious need for roofing because all the buildings, with no exception, had no roofs. A recommendation was made to Cosgrove's headship, that's his senior officers for those uninitiated, setting up a small mill to manufacture corrugated roofing iron from steel strip. After this was accepted by his headship, it was presented to the UN via AusAid. And that's when it really hit the fan, because the UN said, you cannot do this. You'd be seen to be supporting one faction of society and not the other. In other words, the pro-independence movement at the expense of the pro-integration with Indonesia movement, which was still well and truly alive. Can this possibly be supported by an NGO? I thought, yeah, of course it can. The Rotary Club at Doncaster was an obvious choice, having been a Doncaster Rotarian. I contacted past District Governor Bill Tierney when I arrived back, that was, from East Timor, who thought it would be a good initiative. Bill suggested that I contact President Frank Evans, which I did, and very quickly Frank organised a presentation at a board meeting that was imminent. I'm pleased to say the board endorsed entirely this potential project. Thanks to the Rotary Club of Doncaster, the project went ahead. Rotary Club of Melbourne joined not long after, and so did the Rotary Club of Lilydale. Frank Evans, Ern Dawes, John Turner were very, very heavily involved in the project. In fact, Frank and Ern were with the project and made major contributions for the duration. Other club members have been involved, some hands-on and some not, including Pat Armstrong, Terry Breesley and John Shearer. Norm Bruce was our expat manager for almost the whole of the time, for something like 15 years at any rate. The district governor at the time is sitting here tonight, and Ian Risley was a tremendous supporter of our project, not just in word but throughout the district, and probably with some other districts as well. He supported the project from day one, and we would not have had the support that we did receive through the various Rotary clubs had Ian not thrown his shoulder behind the project. And it's fitting tonight that you're here, Ian, for us to thank you for that. The project's now history. I don't intend to go into a lot of detail. I don't have the time. And I see Thelma's starting to shift in her seat there. It's now history. East Timor Roofing has been described publicly as the most successful NGO project in East Timor. This was by Shanana Gusmayo and TMR, both leaders of Fallon Talon, past presidents. After approximately 20 years, East Timor Roofing has been handed on to the Don Bosco organisation, which is all about education in third world countries. East Timor Roofing is alive and well and self-sustaining thanks to Rotary.
Fantastic.
Just making sure Bruce wasn't making off with my notes.
I'll get the strap if I did that.
Listen, I need to tell you all that Greg has turned off Google because he doesn't need it anymore.
Are they losing?
What's that?
Are they losing?
So she knows everything, mate.
Substantially, Greg,
Yes,
substantially.
because he doesn't need Google
I
anymore.
don't need Google, I've got my wife. It's true. It's true.
Yes, dear, for that.
That was her joke. I can't blame you.
Okay, as it's our 50th, you've all had a chance now to admire our birthday cake. Because it's our 50th birthday, we have a cake. And the cake is going to be cut now so that the kitchen can take it away and prepare it for our dessert. So we're going to ask our 50th president, Barry Halpin, and the president during our golden anniversary year, David McIver, to come up and cut the cake. I hope there's a knife there.
I've got the knife.
Oh, excellent, well done. Barry's got the knife. And because everything in Rotary is a team effort, all the past presidents are invited to come up and help them. So, up you come.
Could you move the cake out? No, that's sideways, Barry.
You're going to take photos.
That's sideways.
President's behind the cake. President's behind the cake.
No, I'm going to.
No, you're going in front so you can see the actual cake.
Come on, squeeze up. Come on, President. Let's get this as far off.
That's it. So, and facing towards the camera.
Which president did I like?
Oh, it was so funny. Be careful. How close? How are we doing there, Barry?
Don't try to miss a
Brendan, move closer to Greg. Everyone else move closer to Greg.
Make sure you can see the camera.
Can you see the camera?
Everybody else needs to.
3, 2, go.
Smile if you had sex last night.
What's that? What's he talking about? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
memories. You see
So the next thing we're going to do.
If I was in there, who'd be taking the photo?
Liz,
Yes, what you
Ollie,
want?
Liz, Ollie. Liz, Ollie. Don't sit down. Don't sit down. Okay. All right. To take us through the decade of, I'm going to say the decade of the noughties, but you know what I mean. To take us through the decade of the noughties, please welcome past president and our first female president ever, Liz Ollie. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Special guests, Ian and Juliet, and Rotarians and partners and friends of Rotary on such a joyful occasion. It's my privilege to highlight the achievements of our club in the 4th decade of its existence. I arrived in Australia at the end of 2000. I saw an article in the leader newspaper with a phone number. I couldn't think of a better way to integrate into Australian society and be amongst like-minded people such as Rotarians. So thank you, Graham Trainer, for having that cup of coffee with me and introducing me to the Rotary Club of Doncaster. Soon after joining the club, it changed to having a dinner meeting, as many of the members had moved away and a lunchtime meeting was no longer suitable. Wednesday evenings then became a wonderful opportunity for more fellowship and interaction. I remember being present at a lengthy discussion where the East Timor Roofing Company was requesting backup funding for the purchase of material and training the philantel in building skills. East Timor Roofing Company never actually needed to access that money, a symbol of its immense success. Another star program of Doncaster Rotary Club was the Achievement Program, which was a weekend live-in and personal and business development program. Initially, it was not intended as a fundraiser. The reason why it became a fundraiser was that it was run by highly qualified tutors who offered their skills pro bono. It raised $30,000 each year, an outstanding result and contribution. 2005 saw the 100th anniversary of Rotary International. To celebrate, the Rotary Clubs of Doncaster, Manningham, Templestowe and Donvale held a special dinner. The collaboration of the Rotary Clubs of Doncaster and Manningham funded a sealed walkway and recreation area for the Manningham Centre aged care facility. It was with pride that I became the first woman president of our club in July 2005. I took over from the late Bob Pitts and inherited a viable and dynamic club. It was a very enriching and exciting experience for me, and I was sorry to see it end. I was so well supported by the club in general and the late Jack Tanner, who was my mentor. It became evident that mental health was becoming more of a problem in the community, and in response we were able to donate $20,000 to mental health first aid, which had far-reaching benefits to the community. 2010 saw the Rotary Club of Sunrise merge with us, with 14 experienced members adding to the skill set and vibrancy of our club. They've been a tremendous asset to the club and still deliver service above self. In celebration and recognition for all that we are and all that we do as Rotarians, the African notion of Ubuntu is an apt summary. I am because of others.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you for that. And I will say that when Greg and I joined the Rotary Club of Doncaster, Liz was our Rotary mentor and did a wonderful job. Over the years, a number of local businesses have supported our club by sponsoring our newsletter. We have greatly appreciated the financial support and encouraged our members to patronise those businesses. However, we've never managed to deliver a formal thank you to them. So the president for last year, Brendan Woods, will now present certificates of appreciation to those sponsors who are represented here tonight. When I say your name, please come forward to accept your certificate, and I'd ask everyone else, again, to please hold your expression of appreciation until all the recipients are at the front of the room. The first two sponsors I'm going to mention have been supporting our club from the beginning of this program 34 years ago. They are Sholton Collins McKissock Financial Advisors, represented by Trent Collins. Thank you. No, because the people at the end of the list want the applause as well, okay? So, Philip Webb Real Estate, represented by Philip Webb. So, other sponsors over the years have been HM Engines Dandenong, represented by Bruce Parker. Normac Trading, represented by Norm McLeod. Business Growth Guardian Accounting, Tax and Marketing Advice, represented by Chris Guardiani. Pathways to Wealth Lifestyle Financial Planners, represented by Niranjan Ramji. Ellis Outdoor Living, represented by David Ellis. Pool and Spa Care Centre Templestowe, represented by Kay Howerson. Pod Lab Coffee Pods, Pod Lab Coffee Pods are also sponsors. And the last but not by any means least, EMC Ski and Bushwalking Specialists, represented by Frank Evans.
We clap now.
Well, no, wait for Frank. Frank's coming. Frank's coming. There we are, yes, thank you. Please thank all our sponsors, yes. Thank you, yes. Thank you all, and thank you for coming tonight. We much appreciate it. Over the years, these sponsors have provided more than $33,000 of support to the club's range of projects, and we acknowledge the club's facilitator of the entire sponsorship activity, who was Graham Trainer.
Yeah.
Please express once again your appreciation to our supporters and remember them when it's time to go shopping. Thank you. Our final trip down memory lane for 50 moments in 50 years doesn't require us to stretch our memories back too far. To take us from the 20 teens and up to date, please welcome past President Niranjan Ramji.
Thank you. Right, the past 10 years, how did we do? Well, in our 5th decade, the Rotary Club of Doncaster had further expanded its activities and influence into the Rotary family and the broader community. Some of the highlights of the decades are as follows. The District Tree Project, planting over 12,000 seedlings of locally indigenous trees and shrubs in farms near Beaufort. Chris Potter was selected to lead the 2012 group study exchange team to Texas. One of our YMCA Twilight Disco leaders, Susan Brown, was also part of that team. Under Salwan Shaheen, the Interact Club of Doncaster Secondary College was chartered. LARPS, under the leadership of Leon Moore, started in 2013 and is still one of our major projects to this day. Past President David Grieve, with started up the Beloya Orphans Education Project, which provided funds for school fees for AIDS orphans in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. By the way, that's where I come from, so well done. Thank you, David. The East Timor Roofing Company was deemed profitable and self-sustaining and returned to the local ownership of the Don Bosco Order in 2018. We congratulate and thank the members of this committee who have guided this inspiring program since 2000, including our own club members, past President Frank Evans, Ern Dawes, and past President Bruce Parker. I think you've heard those names a lot this evening. The achievement program was rebranded in 2014 to Challenge to Lead under its new format, and this still continues to be our major fundraiser for our funding of our social activities. The club was selected in 2014 under the presidency of President Alma Reynolds and showcased in the 2014 Rotary International Convention in Sydney, Be a Vibrant Club, major achievement. Past President Jack Tanner hung up the microphone on the Rotary in Action show in 2014 as well, after 18 years and 250 shows. Past President Russell Gurney was elected as District Governor 2018-2019, followed by past President Alma Reynolds, who was elected as District Governor for 2020-2021. Also, in 2020-2021, we saw the biggest challenge, I think, that humanity ever faced, and that was COVID-19 pandemic. Not only did we all suffer in our own ways, but Rotary in whole was impacted severely. But under the leadership of past President Pat Armstrong, we were quick to adapt to Zoom technology, and our Rotary activities were able to continue. During that period was also Rotary in Australia and New Zealand celebrating 100 years of service, with the Rotary Club of Melbourne turning 100 on the 23rd of April 2021. Melbourne sponsored the Rotary Club of Box Hill in 1957, who in turn sponsored our club in 1972. Unfortunately, these celebrations were rather subdued and muted due to COVID-19. But despite COVID-19, it just shows the resilience of our club and Rotary in general. We managed 2 successful district grant projects. That's for supplying personal protective equipment for Timor-Leste and for medical equipment for the Cataract Islands in Bougainville. We also completed a major project that received a TRF Global Grant called Light Up Timor through Enterprise. So that was quite an achievement under difficult conditions, and I'm sure no matter what the future holds for us, this club will remain vibrant and look forward to the challenges of the years ahead. Thank you very much.
Okay, so hanging on the front here is our theme for the current year, Imagine Rotary. And some people think these themes are a bit funny to have a different theme every year, but I can tell you that every president, past president, sitting in this room can remember the theme of their year. So mine was Embrace Rotary, Change Lives, and everybody here will know the theme of their year. Over the years, and we've heard quite a lot, haven't we? Think of all the projects that we've done that have been mentioned tonight. It's just astounding. East Timor Roofing Company comes up a lot because it was such a big project. But, you know, it's really only one of lots and lots of projects that this club has achieved over its lifetime. So we've always marked our significant anniversaries by producing a club history. The first of these was published at our 20th anniversary in 1992. In 2012 it was our 40th anniversary, and we saw then the production of a second club history. Now we've reached our 50th anniversary and another club history has been compiled. Contributors to all the work involved in these undertakings have been Irvin and Muriel Green, Bill and Thelma Tierney, Russell and Shelley Gurney, and charter member Graham Trainer. The 50th anniversary history has been released for tonight's event, and those who are interested are invited to take a copy home with them. They should be on the back table when you leave. One per family, please. For those who prefer, it's also available on a USB stick. This is a record of the achievements leading to tonight's celebration and the club's gift to you. As you all know, events like this don't just happen. On behalf of us all, I would like to extend thanks again to the organising committee. Barry Halpin, Brendan Woods, Rachel Woods and Jodie Barnes, but a very special mention to the person without whom this wouldn't have even started, let alone got off the ground, and that's Graham Trainer, charter member Graham Trainer. Put in an awful lot of work to make tonight a success. Please come forward, Graham, because President David has a special presentation for you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Elma. Could I just say a few words?
Into the microphone. Graham.
Thank you all. It's been a joy to put this night together, but further it's been a joy being a member of Rotary for some 50 years. I was told at the very early stage is when you join Rotary, if you're asked to do something, you do it. And I hope I've carried that out throughout these 50 years, considering I'm only 48 years of age. Sorry, that was my waist measurements. But no, I've enjoyed it. It's great to see so many past presidents and members here, and let's hope it can continue for many more years to come, and this club grow even bigger and better.
Thank you, Graham. For some of us, it's difficult to keep our enthusiasm up over 4 or 5 or 6 months, but Graham's managed it for 50 years. Amazing. On behalf of the club, I would like to thank all of you for being here tonight. A celebration is not a celebration without a crowd, and it's great to know this club has so many well-wishers in the community. Barry's got his hand up.
Permission to speak? Permission to speak?
Be smart. Run.
Don't do that.
Elma's done a good job of keeping her on time, but I'm going to do a good job of wasting some time. Well, not really wasting some time, but I'd like you all to put your hands together for Elma for what a terrific job she's done. And I know, and she's got a little surprise for you, or else, which...
That's the same one.
So we'd like to execute all this.
It's more mature now.
Thank you. I don't do it for the pay. Probably just as well. I'm going to pop this down for a moment. They're beautiful. Thank you so much. We've been listening to our 50 Moments in 50 Years segments this evening, and it's absolutely clear that the Rotary Club of Doncaster has plenty of which it can be proud in its past. The club is currently entering a rebuilding and reinvigorating phase so that in 50 years' time, Rotary Doncaster will still be around to celebrate its centenary. Congratulations to the Rotary Club of Doncaster for 50 years of service to the community and 50 years of upholding the Rotary motto, service above self. This brings us to the end of the celebration this evening, although you are invited to stay, enjoy coffee and birthday cake, and reminisce with people who have come here tonight to join our celebration. I wish you all good night and safe travels. Good night.